Hello guys and welcome to the Bright Agent. Today I'm making some prawn headstock. The smoke in the way of my phone camera today. So essentially add some prawn heads in here. I just kind of sauteed them up a bit using oil and butter before just taking them out and then adding butter to just by itself and then pour it on the heads. Afterwards I did chop up some vegetables. As you can see, that's tomato and that's onion, and I also had garlic and carrot because that's what the recipe called for. You can use 4 cloves, that's the optimal amount for garlic. Just add 1 small carrot, little goes a long way and it adds some sweetness into it too. You also have to kind of fry them first until a little bit of caramelization is achieved. So yeah, it just adds more depth to the flavour profile. Because if you were to, add those vegetables in without even thinking of somewhat cooking them, even if it was only a tiny bit, then yeah, it would just taste raw and a bit unnatural, even if you're cooking the stock for quite a while. As you can see, if you have an electric, I have it on 8.5, and I just removed the pot just to show you what the result looks like, but it's not really the final result. If you're using a gas cooker, I suggest you use high, but not the highest. You should use like medium high. So it's somewhat high, but not too much. As you can see, those are some of the vegetables in there, and I'm going to reduce this by leaving it for probably like anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. 30 minutes if you're not really keen on reducing it too much, but 2 hours is kind of like the maximum you would use, anywhere from like 30 to 2. Some people go 3, and there's like this term I learned today. So it's like demi-glace and glace. So for sauces like these, demi-glace is when you reduce the sauce by 50%, but when you reduce the sauce by 80 or 90%, it's called glace. The difference between demi-glace and glace is not only the amount you reduce, all the time you reduce it for, it's also what it looks like. A glass sauce tends to have a clearer look than demi-glace, but it's still important to reduce it since it naturally thickens the sauce and it intensifies the flavour. For example, those prawn heads would have a massive different taste if I were to leave them for 1 hour or just 2 or 3. It will have a massive difference, but also depends on really what you want to use them for. If you're going to still cook it for a bit when you're preparing other dishes, then it's not really a problem to just leave it for 1 hour or something. But 1 hour is the minimum, just at least 1 hour to ensure that it thickens and has that nice development flavour. I'll stay updated on what happens next in this video. Also update, the amount of onion that I used was 1 onion, and this was 1.5 kilograms of king prawns, king crevette prawns as they were called. But we just removed the heads. We initially intended to throw them away, but after realising that we could do this, we decided not to put into this. So it's 1.5 kilograms, just alter it based on how much it is. I'll send the link for the recipe in my description. So I'm just going to let it reduce a bit more. Just remember that I'll watch pot never boils unless you just look away for 1 second. This, guys, is the final result, and it looks kind of stunning. I think I've done close to a demi-glace. The head, I tasted one of them, and the shell may be slightly on the harder side, but still okay since you managed to pop the flavour. I'll do a quick taste. You can see it's nice red, kind of looks like a bit like a darker turmeric shade, and overall it tastes really great. It is worth the effort. If you put it on high heat, you can literally do this under 20 minutes. I'm not suggesting that you should always do it 20 minutes on high heat because other recipes will tell you otherwise. But I just kind of like improvise here. I was a bit short on time, but it's still great quality. You can even freeze this, place it in the fridge. If you place it in the freezer, it can last up to a year before it succumbs to freezer bit, where like frost completely just gets to it and ruins the quality. You can even do this in paella. You can just put already cooked rice in there, stir it around, add your seafood of your choice. That's paella. That's what they use in there. You can even use this as like a broth or a sauce. You can put it in noodles. You can put it in rice. You can basically put it as long as it's a sensible choice to put it in there. Whatever you can use it for, you could use it for. And it always turns out great. The only other thing I had to add was like a bit of ginger, bit of salt, bit of white pepper, bit of paprika. And even if you don't have physical ginger and physical paprika, since they're expensive, you can just use them in their powder form, since they're more affordable to get. So overall, really high quality sauce. As you can see with light here again, look at it. I mean, there are some stuff remaining, and I could have reduced this even further to make it even thicker. The consistency is quite, it's a bit thin, so I could have reduced it even further. But whether you reduce it that much or not, it's still a really good sauce to have if you still put time and effort into it. It's really good sauce. And the lesson from here is that you should always preserve whatever you're cooking. Because if we threw the shrimp head or prawn heads away, we wouldn't have realised how quality of a sauce this is. It's amazing. You should definitely try this out. Again, link in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Be bright, stay bright, and have a good day.